All right, welcome, folks. Today, got probably a bit of a shorter video for you, but we're going to use the idea that we started yesterday of completing the square. We're going to tweak that a little bit, and we're going to use that to go from standard form into vertex form. So, just a quick reminder: we have done things in the past, like we've taken, say, we have a function f of x, and let's say that function is x plus 5 squared minus 38. Okay, this would be a function. This would be a quadratic function, a parabola, that has a vertex at our point. We take the opposite sign of in here, so negative 5, comma, and then the actual number here. So negative 5, negative 38. So there we would have a function with a a quadratic function with the vertex at negative 5, negative 38, just from this vertex form part here. So we talked about moving from vertex form into standard form, where we would just take and distribute on the right side of this equation x plus 5 times x plus 5 minus 38, and we would distribute, so x times x gives us x squared, x times 5 gives us 5x, x times 5 gives us 5x, and then 5 times 5 gives us 25 minus 38. Again, this guy just comes along for the ride. So then we combine like terms. We get x squared plus 5, or excuse me, s squared plus 10x. We take our two 5x's and add them together, and then 25 and then negative 38 is going to be x squared plus 10x minus 13. Okay? So what's really nice is we would have this function that we could say, all right, I've taken the vertex form equation of this function, and I have manipulated it and gotten to a standard form equation. But what we haven't done so far is go from standard form into vertex form. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. So let's take this same function here, just since we know what the answer is supposed to be, and let's talk about how we would manipulate this. So if we're given a function f of x equals x squared plus 10x minus 13, the way we're going to go from standard form to vertex form here is we're going to take this and we're going to split it up a little bit. F of x equals x squared plus 10x, and then we're going to add some number to it. We're going to add some number to it. We're going to sort of move that 13 off to the side, and then whatever number we add here, whatever number we add in this box, we're going to subtract. We're going to subtract after our 13, just so that way we have, if we add some number and we subtract that same number, we're effectively adding 0. We're not changing anything. Okay? So we're going to use that completing the square idea, where we take negative b over 2, excuse me, not negative b, excuse me, where we take b over 2 and we square it. Okay? So in this case, b is 10, so 10 over 2 squared. It's going to be 5 squared, which is going to be 25. So that's the number that we're going to add in those boxes, or we're going to put in those boxes. So f of x equals x squared plus 10x plus 25 minus 13, and then minus that 25 that we just had. So that way we're effectively adding 0. Adding 25 here and subtracting 25 here doesn't change our original function. It's still the same. So now we can take and factor this. We can take and factor this using that perfect square trinomial. F of x equals, and again, we're going to have x. We're going to take our plus sign, bring it down, and then the number that we squared, which was 5 right here, x plus 5 squared. All right, so we don't actually have to do a whole bunch of mental gymnastics. We can just say, okay, I take the sign, and then I also take the thing that I squared when I was trying to figure out what to add. And then negative 13 plus 20 or minus 25 is negative 38. So this would be the vertex form of our equation, which is exactly what we got up here. Okay? So let's keep going with that. Let's try one more, and then we'll do one more. I'll talk through one more from beginning to end, and then I'll let you guys work on one, and then we'll go from there. Let's leave this up here so we have some examples to work from. So what if we looked at something like this, where we have a function, we'll call it g of x, and that's going to be 2x squared minus 8x plus 3. So now, it's a little bit different because of this 2, but overall the process is still the same. Again, when we are completing the square, all we care about we wanted to make sure these two were on the same side by itself, so we're just going to factor out the 2 from these two terms. Okay, so g of x, again, we're going to take this 3 and sort of split it off, but g of x, we're going to factor a 2 out from these two terms, so 2 times x squared minus 4x plus some number times, or parentheses, and then we're going to leave the plus 3, and we're going to subtract some number on the outside. Okay, but remember that we are going to be distributing this 2 to all of these objects eventually. So instead of just the number on the outside, we're going to go ahead and we're going to say whatever number we factored out, we're going to subtract that number, in this case that number is 2, times whatever number we find for our completing the square value. So again, we're going to do that completing the square value, b over 2 squared. In this case, b is 4 over 2 squared, which is 2 squared, which ends up being 4. So we're going to take and we're going to plug 4 in to our boxes. So we're going to end up with g of x equals 2 parentheses x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus 3 minus the number we factored out, which is 2, times 4. Okay, and then let's continue cleaning up. G of x equals 2 parentheses. Now we can factor this because we have a perfect square trinomial, so we're going to say x, take that sign, minus, then we're going to take this number we factored, or this b over 2 value, minus 2 quantity squared, plus 2 times 4, most times it's going to be 8, so plus 3 minus 8. Minus 8 is going to end up not being a plus, but a minus sign. Is going to be plus 3 minus 8, which is minus 5. So we now have a vertex form equation that will enable us to graph this guy a little bit easier, and be able to find that vertex quite a bit easier. Okay, so those are the two sort of main examples I can give you. You'll have an assignment, and we will have a time to hang out later today. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye.